Hate Week is here. Cowboys, Eagles, baby. 2 days away. 48 hours. I cannot wait for the beatdown. Let's take a look at the history of this fine matchup.
There is no greater rivalry anywhere in the league.
It's personal. Of course it is.
Hold it, boy. Need all the energy you got tonight.
Gotta do it. Gotta bring it.
Let's go in there and kick their ass. I'm trying to eat.
Don't let up. Put on the game. Come on, man.
Over the middle.
Caught by Witten, who loses his helmet but still keeps going. Deflection. Touchdown. Cowboys win.
Man, handoff. Smith straight up the middle. He may be gone.
Get the ball. It is good.
I love it. I'm in a league of my own. They ain't ready for me.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody in Philadelphia.
What a game for the Sean McCoy.
You will see this play for the next 25 years.
You will see this play again.
2,000 for the season.
It's over. The Eagles are in the Super Bowl. Put him on his ass, baby. Come on.
That was a collector.
That's how you play evil football.
Get your popcorn ready. Because it's going to be a show.
This is unbelievable. And he is all the way home. Oh, my goodness. He reeled it in.
I have never hated anything more than I hate the Dallas Cowboys. The only game I look forward to any year is the Dallas Eagles game in Philly.
The Cowboys on 3. 1, 2, 3, for the Cowboys.
Going on, everybody, man, and welcome to the very first episode of The Truth, where not all Eagle fans agree on everything, and this is definitely the spot where this shit about to go down.
Gotta stay locked in, goggin. Gotta ball out like Robin. Straight to the top, I'm all in. Ordinary's like a toxin. I don't wanna be like Robin. I just wanna lead, no watching. Fuck caution, I ain't gonna be common. I got the confidence, like I'm on the shit, like I'm the baddest bitch in the club. I'm here for dominance, I'm being honest, that's what I want. I'll never give up, I want the whole place sold out. My name in every mouth, you know I'm after this shit. Till the world say my motherfucking name. Say my name. Say my motherfucking name. Say my. You know I'm after this shit. Till the world say my motherfucking name. Say my name. Say my motherfucking name. Say my. You know I'm after this shit. Till the world say my motherfucking name.
Driven by fire, driven by fear, never get tired, no I'm still here. Fell to the cracks, now I'm shifting gears. 10 years into my moments here. Waited my turn, now I'm hot in demand. Slept on a kid, but I had bigger plans. Stayed low key, but I still hit drive. Give me one shot and I'm coming alive. Names on the left, second taste it. Gunning for the top, no limitations. From the basement, no hesitation. Flipping on my L's with straight motivation. Ain't no quitter, I'm built for the grind. Pressure makes up.
What is up, Eagles Nation? It's your boy Birdgang 31 in the building. How's everybody doing? 48 hours away from the big game. And I had to go bring someone out of retirement. Someone that y'all love to hate, and that is our boy, Boys for Life. What's up, my guy? The game is almost here. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you. I appreciate it so much for you hitting me up, asking me to come on. I know I've been on a couple of your live streams the past few days talking because let's all face it, everybody's been talking Dallas Cowboys and the Micah Parsons trade. So I already know we're going to get into that at some point at this video. But yeah, no, I appreciate you bringing me on, asking me to come talk a little bit. I've been itching to come on to talk a little bit, to give my little point of view, and so we'll see.
I felt it. I seen you around the tube. Dropping little gems. Like, he wants to come back. He wants to come back and say something about his Cowboys. So we're going to let him come back.
I miss it. To be honest with you, I do miss it. I do miss this. I do miss going on here, talking with other fan bases about football. I'm giving my little perspective of what I see because, I mean, let's face it. We go on ESPN, we go on the NFL Network, and what do we hear? The same stuff every single time. It's fun to get the fan perspective of how we view our football team. So, here I am giving my little spiel when it's time.
But we have more Cowboys coming, and we had JC, my co-host, coming. I don't know where they're at. JC says work things happen. We're going to see what happens. But we decided we're just going to get it going. If they come in, they come in. If they don't, we're going to definitely make this show worth it. So let's start it off, my guy. How are you feeling about? Let's go ahead and start with the Micah Parsons trade. How do you feel like that will affect your team coming this Thursday night? And how big of a loss is that for you?
So I made a video on it. Not about my reaction, but my honest reaction when I saw that happen wasn't of the typical Cowboy fan where like, oh my God, we traded Parsons. Like, why? What happened? My reaction was, crap, they traded Parsons. What did they get for him? Like, that's what I was worried about. It wasn't so much that they traded him, because the more and more I got down to it and it was actually truthful with myself, is because when you go back to a live stream when they drafted him, I was all for it. I was jumping up and down. I was happy. I was yelling like, yes, like we got our guy. And the more I saw every year, it was shit. We still can't stop the run. Like crap. Like we're still getting beaten coverage. Like, we're playing the Niners or the Packers and we're in a big game. We need to play. We need to stop. They run to his side or they double team him. And it's like, where's my guy at? So don't get me wrong. I'll give him his flowers. He's a great pass rusher, edge rusher. But for me, we weren't winning when he was here. So what difference is it going to make when he's not here? I mean, if we get worse, we get worse. If we get better, great. We got better because now we're able to stop the run. And let's face it, Kenny Clark is no slouch at plugging up the middle. He's not. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler. So that, to me, will help us tremendously. I mean, we did get edge rusher out of Boston College, Donovan. I'm not even saying his last name.
Raku or something like that.
Yeah, Raku. I mean, that guy, we got him in the second round. He's projected first rounder, middle to late first round. So, and then we also got Sam Williams on the other side. I mean, we are, I won't say stacked, but our depth at that position is pretty high up there. So, I mean, for me, I think, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not going to say it's going to help us, but I'm not going to say it's going to be any worse than what it has been. I mean, maybe it'll get better we're able to stop the run now a little bit better. But as far as pass rush and getting to the quarterback, I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like you guys lost the trade. And here's my deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Clark, yes. Now you upgrade your run stopping defense, which you need to do, right? But you downgrade your pass rushers. I know you said you guys got these rookies and whatnot, but they're not Micah Parsons.
No, not even close.
Generational talent, you know what I'm saying? Like a guy, 52 sacks first 4 years. It's like, only Reggie White's done that. So it's like you're taking away a talent like that. And my biggest part that I hate the most about the trade are the 2 first-round picks, because it's not like it's a shitty team where you're going to get 2 high-value first-round picks. If they look like the Packers look right now, you're looking at like late 20s, you know what I'm saying, for 2 picks in the late 20s, which everybody knows isn't the best in terms of the first-round picks, in terms of like if you're excited about having it. Can you package those picks, move up to get somebody you want? Yeah, that's a possibility. But you won't really fully get the grasp of this, until another, 3-4 years from now with 2 first-round picks. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So you won't have the full effect. Kind of like with Carson Wentz. We didn't see the Carson Wentz trade full, span until the last couple of years, going to Super Bowl, getting guys like AJ, Smitty, all these guys. We had like 9 players that came back from that Carson Wentz pick. So, it is what it is. It's a guy that I feel like been waiting to leave. He's always like, I think people are getting tired of the podcast. People are getting tired of putting his team down like that. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, at the end of the day, he's a good football player. It just wasn't a smart move, I don't think.
I mean, well, if you look at it, I mean, there's reports coming out right now that he is. Now, I don't think it's an epidural. Like, there are reports that he might need an epidural before the game week 1. But I mean, an epidural is something women take when they're about to give birth. Like, it basically makes you basically paralyzed from the waist down. So I don't think it's an actual epidural. Maybe it's a different form of epidural. I don't know. But like he might need a shot. Like, I think he had like a sprain like L4 and L5, which from when I was researching and looking at, some of these videos on what the doctors say it helps you out basically with your base and like load up and put a lot of tension on your back. So like if he has those sprained L4 and L5s on your spine, I mean, that's kind of serious. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, this is that clip you're talking about right here.
Yeah,
that I see too. It's like, wow, Micah Parsons. The Packers were not totally aware of Micah Parsons' facet joint sprain on his L4 and L5 vertebrae when they passed him through his physical, approving the trade with Dallas. If he plays this year for the Packers, he will need regular epidural according to the doctor. So that's not just like one epidural. He's gonna need it like before every game or something.
Yeah, every game. And so to that point, I will say the Packers were not aware of how serious it was before the trade, but when it came time to his physical, they knew at that point how bad it was, but they were able to just, pass him in his physical so that way they could ultimately do what they did because they wanted him that bad. But if he's not able to play this year, I mean, you tell me who won that trade, right?
Yeah.
If we're able to finesse 2 first-rounders and Kenny Clark, right, and he can't play this year or he's that hurt, I mean, if your spinal cord is spraying like that and you need shots to where you can't feel what's going on there, imagine you hurting it and then not being able to feel it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you actually something major does happen, but you don't know because you're numb down there. You know what I mean?
He could totally ruin it.
Yeah, he could ruin his career. So if this stuff is actually true, the way all these reports, who actually won this trade in the long run? And plus, you're not going to pay $47 million to your linebacker edge rusher, plus pay $60 million a year to your quarterback, and then pay whatever it is to your wide receiver, and still be able to give Deron Bland his $92 million over 4 years, right? 20, I think it's like 20 or 50, something like that, guaranteed 50, maybe I think it's 50. And then you still need a George Pickens. You're going to want to re-sign him. And then I'm sure as hell hope they better not let Brandon Aubrey go because we already know the Cowboys can't score once it gets inside the 20. So Aubrey don't miss. You know what I mean? So to me, it's addition by subtraction. You get rid of Parsons. You keep all that money. Maybe you go out into free agency, even though this is the first year we've seen them make any sort of splash in free agency. It's not big, but they did make some moves, right? And now they're signing. I mean, one day removed from the Parsons trade, and what happens? You sign Deron Bland, right?
Yeah.
So you got your guy, right? So, I mean, to me, like you said, we're not going to know the full scope of anything till about 3 years down the road once these draft picks have been made already and what's what. But who knows? The Packers may have lost in this trade.
Like you said, though, if he does, and that is how serious it is, you guys could have won this trade. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could have won it. Jerry didn't say that. You know what I'm saying? He goes, last time I gave big money to my quarterback, and we missed him for a year, right after I gave him the big money. Like, he didn't want to go into this season giving Parsons big money, and then ended up missing him for the year.
Or we both could lose this trade because, I mean, let's face it, the Cowboys aren't the greatest at drafting first-rounders outside of offensive linemen. So, I mean, we both could lose. There's that possibility.
It could be a lose-lose
came out of
situation.
nothing. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
It could end up being a big 0 on both these ends.
But I do see the plus side in terms of Clark. Like last year he played hurt. I know we played him twice last year, beat him twice last year, but he also played hurt last year. And I heard this year he's a lot more healthier than he was last year. So that is a big plus. Like you say, it's a 3-time Pro Bowler. He clogs the middle. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you guys need. If these young guys that you guys got are as good as you guys think he is, and maybe, I'm not at Cowboy practice, you're not at Cowboy practice. Maybe these guys are showing up, or maybe they're not Micah Parsons, but them as collective can give you something to what Micah Parsons could do in terms of aggressiveness off the edge, and now you did get a solid, strong, middle of that defensive line when you got a guy like Clark.
Now, I will say this. I did watch Jerry Jones's press conference of when they traded him and everything. To me, two things can be right. He's right in we can't stop the run, and then he's full of shit when he said he wanted to make this trade because we couldn't, or one of his reasons was because we couldn't stop the run. Let's face it, Jerry Jones has had a multitude of picks from the past 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Facts.
We could have got a Jordan Day. We could have gotten a Jalen Carter. We could have gotten some of those guys along those lines, right? But never happened. So, I mean, to me, the reasonings were full of shit. He also alluded to, the injury and everything. So it is, like I said, it is what it is. But I don't know if it's true or not. Reports were coming out that Jerry Jones actually offered more guaranteed money than what the Packers did. Like I said, I don't know if that's true, but I think it was maybe same thing with that Dak situation where Jerry wanted that 5th year on a certain number and they wanted 4. And I think it was the same thing like that because I think Jerry, even though he offered more money guaranteed, he wanted a 5-year deal instead of a 4. So I don't know. The whole thing's weird, but it is what it is. We got 2 first-rounders.
I'm gonna let you put your Jerry Jones cap on because you look at our owner what is this guy doing? What is this guy doing? I'm gonna let you put on your Jerry Jones cap. If you had a choice to be Jerry Jones, which 2 of the 3 bigs would you have kept, and which one would you have let go? Would you have kept the way it is? Keep it CD pan, Dak.
I would have let go of Dak. To me, I would have let go of Dak. I never would have signed Dak. Now, at least not to the $60 million a year that he wants. Because, I mean, to be honest with you, the out of the 3, Dak, CD, and Parsons, who's the only one that shows up in these big games? It's CD Lamb. That's it. And when the ball gets to him. Because when the ball's not getting to him, Dak Prescott looks like a deer in headlights and he's throwing interceptions all over the place. And then Micah Parsons, like I said, when it's time to play a team like the Niners, the Packers, someone with a solid run game, he's nowhere to be found. So, But to me, I would have got rid of to me, honestly, it would have been Dak. Straight up Dak, 100%. Just because I've had more of I wouldn't even call it a sample. I've had a whole career of him getting us to 3-4 playoff games and winning 1.
Yeah. I think he was 2-5. The worst out of all starting quarterbacks in terms of playoff records.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I think out of most of those playoff appearances, we start off in the division game. We don't do the wild card. Those 5 losses. I think maybe 1 or 2 of them came from the wild card, then the division game. But I think I'm gonna say 3 of them were started off in the divisional round and 1 and done. Actually, his rookie year we lost to the Packers, and then 2 years ago we lost to the Packers.
Yeah. Now you're trading the Packers your best player.
And there's a lot of history here with the Packers. It's great. And you're right. That was another deal. Was why would you trade them? And it's not even so much to the Packers. It's why would you trade them to someone who has a possibility of getting into the playoffs and having late round picks? That was my deal. It wasn't so much that we traded with the Packers. It was Well, the Packers, I mean, that division's good, but even if they make a wild card and they win a game or two, they're in the divisional round. They're in the title game, the title game before the Super Bowl. So you're looking at a 22 to 26, 27th pick for those two. You know what I mean? If you do it for those 2 years, if they do the same thing. But you also got to look at it like the Packers, when they played, I think it was a winning record. A team with a winning, they were like 2-5 last year. I think they lost almost every game, or maybe one, or they won all. They lost all but one game when they did divisional games. You know, against Minnesota, against the Lions.
Yeah.
Does Micah Parsons make that team, that defensive side, that much better with him being injured? I don't know. That those DBs are iffy. They have another solid edge rusher on the other side, so maybe it'll pair him up, you know, and he'll be able, you know, maybe he'll be able to do more, because I think that other guy can stop the run, can cover, while all Micah wants to do is just rush the quarterback. I mean, there was reports coming out that what's the Commanders head coach's name? That was our coach. Dan Quinn and whoever the hell we had, Zimmer was saying that Parsons didn't really want to do much of anything else as far as scheming other than rushing the quarterback. I mean, do you want a guy like that on your team? No. You want a guy?
We had one, Tom Reddick. We had to let him go.
Yeah. Or do you want a guy on your team that says, I want a team-friendly deal. I want this. I want that. I want these pieces around me. I'll take less money, da-da-da-da. And then push comes to shove. This happens. Lying to the fan base, everything. Falling asleep on the trainer's table. Nah, it was time for him to go. Podcast after every game. It's like, bro, it's like you rather do the podcast than go work out and be in football for the next 6 months, you know? So it was getting, to be honest with you, the past like year and a half, I've been over Parsons, to be honest with you.
Well, I know you were retired last year. You were retired last year. I know you got to see my boys, my Philly.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Another Super Bowl, my guy. Another Super Bowl.
I went to a buddy's house.
Now. Watch out, Cowgirls. We're coming for those 5.
I was already drunk by halftime. I told my wife, let's go. I'm out. Let's go. The Chiefs, I mean, I don't like either team. Like, I really don't. But so I really didn't care who won. So I was.
But you hate the Eagles more. Come on now.
You what?
I said, but you hate the Eagles more. Come on now.
I do hate the Eagles more, but also I hate the Chiefs for other reasons. But it was like, fuck, man. Like, I mean, either outcome sucks. You know, either outcome is gonna suck.
Belt to ass. That's what we're doing around here in Philly nowadays. We're doing straight belt to ass.
So let me ask you this: with all the defensive pieces that are left. I know I wouldn't say reloaded, but you know, y'all did make some draft picks and everything. How do you feel your defense is gonna hold up, not just against the Cowboys this year or Thursday night, but just as a whole with a lot of your pieces going elsewhere?
I'm all right with it, you know, because we still got Vic. Vic took the last place defense and made him number 1. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had the sous chef, now we have the chef in the building. Now these young cats being able to go from, you know, 28 or whatever we were to number 1 defense, that's like the biggest jump in NFL history, like in terms of like defensive rankings. And the fact that a lot of those guys were first and second year players in a new scheme for Big Mangio, and we're bringing them back this year, it's like the gain of losses kind of, that margin kind of drops a little bit, because you look at, we lost Sweaty, right? But I wanted to keep Josh Sweat. I was really mad that we kind of didn't pay him. You know what I'm saying? But I knew they was going to overpay him, and we weren't going to overpay Josh Sweat. But, you know, he did lead our team in sacks. But, you know, that was one guy I was worried about. But we did have Nolan, Hunt, and Wings waiting to, you know, do their thing. You know, you look at Milton Williams, another guy that got overpaid, you know, the highest paid Patriot ever, and like more than Tom Brady or whatever the hell. And, you know, he was a third defensive tackle on our football team. You know, Jordan Davis is slimmed up. got into shape, looks way better, and he had a great end of the season last year. Postseason run, had a couple of sacks in the postseason. He's upped his game, and plus he lost some more weight this offseason. So I think he's going to be a menace to really replace that. Plus we got a guy like Amoro Ojomo who's looking pretty good there. He played good last year too in his sparing time. So the biggest departures I would say that I look for to see how Banjo really going to cover it up will be our CB2 and our safety. CJGJ, whenever he was on our team, we went to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Like 2 times he came, 6 picks in Super Bowl. So without him there, we do got Andrew Makuba, who's looking pretty good out there as a rookie. He just got to stay healthy. We got Sidney Brown coming back from injury. He had a year off of ACL last year, didn't play too much. So this year's kind of like his first year really back, fully healthy. I'm not really worried too much about it. But overall, like I said, you got to think that guys like Jalen Carter has gotten better. Another year in Vic Fangio's system. He's already one of the best defensive players in the league, You got Jordan Davis coming back. We got Nolan Smith coming back. We got Zach Baum, who went from journeyman to freaking all-pro linebacker last year, who's coming back. Just got paid, coming back, to lead this defense. And then we drafted my boy right here, Jaheim Campbell, who is a straight menace right now, who they also say is looking like a Micah Parsons type cat at the linebacker position. That we had to be backing him off because he be hitting our own players too hard. He gave a couple of our own players concussions in the, off season here, just for playing too hard. And that's just kind of the linebacker you want on your football team. So I don't feel like the pieces missing are going to be as dramatic as people think they're going to be. And I think we pick up right where we left off last year and continue to dominate on that defensive side of football.
Yeah, I feel those, like, when I saw throughout, like, as they were leaving, I was like, man, that defense is gonna take a hit, especially the guys that y'all had that I thought, Josh Sweat, Williams, CJ Garner-Johnson. And like you were saying, y'all went from worst defense league to the best defense league, but it's kind of easy when you got a coordinator like Fangio, and then you already have the pieces in place to do that. You know what I mean? Like maybe he was able to understand these guys a little bit better than whoever y'all's other defensive coordinator was.
We had a lot of disciples before. That was the biggest difference. We have Fangio protege, we have dude that, but they all went, they all, got promotions, pretty much except for the last year, the year before last, the other ones like, Jonathan Gannon was new head coach of Arizona, he's the coach of Arizona Cardinals now, had one of the most sacks ever, but they're defensive coordinators that have pieces of Fangio. They're not Fangio, Fangio's a guy that he doesn't have a scheme. He plays week to week. You know what I'm saying? He's old school. You're going to go against a team, you might see a 5-2. You might see a 4-3. You might see a 4-4. You know what I'm saying? You might see a 3-4 that week. It doesn't matter. He just does whatever he needs to do to win. Instead of some of these guys that are his proteges, they might run a base 4-3. You know what I'm saying? Or they might run a base 3-4. And that's their main package with a lot of Fangio concepts in there, which I think is a big difference, you know what I'm saying, from having the chef as opposed to the apprentices. So, like I said, like this defense is only going to get better. Like I said, we're the second youngest team in the league right now. The second youngest and coming off of a Super Bowl. It's the sky's the limit for this defense. We can be even better this year because you know how hard it is your first year in a scheme. Think how much better it's going to be this year, second year in the scheme. We got guys like Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, 2 rookies on a top 100. I like to throw that out there. I have to throw that out there. Look at our list, guys. Top 100 Eagles. Jordan Mailata, Sweat, DeJean, Quinyon, Jalen. Look at that. We got 9 players on the top 100 with Saquon Barkley being number 1, man. So, and I think that's another thing that helps out our defense so much is our running game. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you can run the ball like we can run the ball, we always been good, but last year we were great at running the ball. We were always good, Miles Sanders, Swift, but last year we were great with Saquon, getting over 2K. He could have even easily broke the record. He could have did so much more. He sat out so many games. that if he didn't sit out those games, the record would have been demolished and it'd probably be unbreakable. But he decided to listen to the coach and sit out. Help the team, let the young bucks roll, like he says. So I think that really helps our defense out a lot when you're running the football. You're taking that. I think we had some of the best time of possession stats last year too from running the football, and we see how it goes this year. Like I said, like anything can happen. I feel like we have so many good players that are on a ascent to be great. Like I feel like Jalen Carter, now your next step is to get double-digit sacks. You know what I'm saying? You already told the world that you're one of the best DTs in the league, one of the best defensive players in the league. It's time for you to get those sacks to match up, like Aaron Donald did. You know what I'm saying? Like Jordan Davis, time for you to actually – now he started to get sacks at the end of the season. Last year in the playoffs, he started to get a couple more sacks. Not only does he stop the run, but if you can add that, say Jordan Davis get another 8 sacks this year, that's going to make him a Pro Bowl, style defensive tackle. So, Zach Bond, first year starting a linebacker ever, coming in this year, that should make him even more better this year. Even though a lot of the stuff he did last year, I don't know how you're going to repeat. That's why I think he might be one of those guys to have a good year, but I don't know if he can get that first team All Pro again. I hope he does, but I don't know, because a lot of the stuff he did was magic. A lot of stuff he did was magic, and I hope that it continues this year. We see what happens with it, though.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about it? Let's go through this game. Let's break down this game as a whole. 2 days away, opening day. We talked about the Micah Parsons trade. How do you feel about? Let's go with the Eagles in general. Like, what is your take? With the Eagles in general going into this season, how do you feel about them? Like, we can break down position by position. A little bit later, but give me your overall take of how you think this team is.
Well, with the Eagles, I mean, you have your offensive side of the ball back. You have Saquon, you have Jalen Hurts, who can sit back in the pocket and throw, or you can take off. You still got Smitty, or you still got AJ Brown. So, I mean, yeah, I think you're gonna be fine on offense. Defense side of the ball is what I feel like what y'all were a couple of years ago. Like, that's what I think is what's going to happen, or the way y'all were a couple of years ago, where y'all went on this 10-1 record, and all of a sudden, like, and I could see it coming. Like, every week it was like just getting closer and closer and closer until y'all just fell off. And I was like, it was like the other team would just make a stupid play to keep y'all in the game to win. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, how are they getting this lucky? And after week 11, like, that's when the shift happened and y'all just fell. Like, I'm not saying that's what I think is going to happen. It's just a feel I have of that's the way that defense is going to be this year, the way it was a couple years ago. Not to say that it's going to happen again where y'all going to get 10 wins, lose 1, and then all of a sudden just fall off. I'm just saying I think a lot of those pieces, a lot of the heart and soul, like, left with Milton and Sweat and CJ Garner-Johnson, and now it's a young, the youngest team in the league on the defense side of the ball. I think a lot of the guys, even though, like, they're coming into their own, they still got to find their way. They still got to find the leader, of that defense, right? Like, they still got to find that heart of that defense. And so, I mean, it's still going to be a learning curve for that side of the ball. As far as the Cowboys go, I mean, we got a wide receiver. We got Pickens.
You got a wide receiver.
We got Pickens. We got a wide receiver. I mean,
to that credit, do you think Pickens is better than some of the other number 2s you've had? You've had Cooper, Amari Cooper before. You had Brandon Cooks before. You had Pickens. Do you think Pickens is that much of an upgrade from those type guys to bring in?
Well, I mean, as far as Amari Cooper goes, I mean, I wish we had kept him into CeeDee Lamb's, prime where he's at right now. I wish we could have got to see those guys play the way CeeDee's playing at such a high level right now, and Cooper was still young, right? And still is, because he came into the league young. But for me, Pickens is a step up above Brandon Cooks and any other number 2 that we've had in recent years. I mean, Brandon Cooks last year was hurt, I think, some point in the year, if I remember correctly. So it was just CeeDee Lamb. And then a couple years ago, when it was just CeeDee Lamb, it was what 2019 was all over again, where it was wide receiver by committee, where we had Hearns, I think, coming out of Jacksonville. I think that was our top guy. And it was Zeke in the backfield, and all they did was stack the box to stop Zeke and make Dak beat you, and he couldn't, right? So for me, Pickens is a step above a lot of these guys. And Pickens is another guy that we can re-sign because we didn't pay that $47 million tag to Micah Parsons, because now we got money in the bank.
Yeah, that's true. You got a little bit of money in the bank there. But they have the same agent, so you know he's gonna be coming for blood with Jerry. He'll be coming for blood. You don't want all that money. You don't want all that money. Let's see. Let's go with the quarterback position. How do you feel about Dak Prescott going into this year? Out a whole season. Again, I know it has to be time where you're gonna finally admit that Jalen Hurts is better than Dak, right? We can say that now. We can say that now clearly.
No,
I've been telling you this for a while now, boy. But I think we're at a point.
Out of my mouth.
The Super Bowl
what I will say
is better than Dak Prescott. Let's hear it from your voice. Let me hear it.
What I will say is Jalen Hurts was on a great team that he was able to play with and made him better, so that way he can go win a championship. But you already know that I don't like Dak Prescott to begin with. I don't like Dak Prescott.
We're booing you right now. This is the boo crowd.
Look, okay.
That is not facts, okay? I want you to come out on TV and tell the truth.
He's a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback. You already know I don't like Dak Prescott for my reasons that I've named over and over and over. So I don't need to say that Jalen Hurts is better than Dak, because when you watch it with your own eyes, you know that it's there. So I said it without saying it.
I just thought you might want to come out and tell the truth to join the show.
I said it without saying it.
But said it without saying it. Basically, what he's trying to say
Jalen Hurts is better than Dak Prescott. Look, they're there.
Yes.
Yes. Hold on, let me turn this light on real quick.
Give it to him. You gotta give him those claps, baby, because he is telling the truth now, man. That Jalen Hurts is better than Dak. But like I said, do you think this is Dak's time to shine, or this could be it for him? Because I really feel like without the same way when we had all those draft picks, those we had two back-to-back. I think we had like 3 years where we had 2 first-round draft picks. This Dak time to shine or go. I feel like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, Dak has had plenty of time to shine and should have been gone a long time ago. But
I'm saying that he agree like this year if he does not play up to the expectation.
It's going to be kind
of
hard.
Jerry has the ammo to trade up and actually go get somebody.
But it's going to be kind of hard to do anything as far as Dak goes with that. We're kind of married to him for the next couple more years because of that contract.
Gentlemen, good evening.
What's up, Amp? You decided to join us, my guy.
Yeah, man. I know. It might be cool. It might be acceptable for us to tuck our tails right now with the current situations, but I ain't that dude, man. We got some ball to play.
You got some ball to play. Well, welcome to the show, my guy. We're just talking about Dak Prescott. Is this the end of Dak if he does not, take care of business this season?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Who gonna replace him?
You got 2 first-round picks in the next 2 years. You can trade up and get yourself a quarterback. We got 2 first-rounders.
Truth be told, I don't trust them with their process in drafting quarterbacks. I'm just being honest. We lucked into the last 2. We lucked into them. but I don't trust their formula, their format for drafting quarterbacks.
Okay. I like it.
It might take a little luck because that the history has shown more recently. That's how we've had success at that position.
How you feeling about Dak coming into the season?
Hey, he got to make it happen, man. He got to make it happen. It's put up or shut up. They've given him an additional weapon, and to much is given, much is expected. Now, on the flip side, I wish they would give him what I call the Tony Romo 2.0 treatment. And that treatment, as you remember, we drafted a running back in 2016, and they had been investing in that offensive line leading up to that. And they said, look, let's give him in this offense another dimension. Since Zeke started to decline, we have not really fully, in my opinion, addressed that concern. And especially with the three they're starting this year.
But guess what, you guys? You guys got a back there now. Booty Miles. Miles Sanders is a Dallas Cowboy.
Yeah.
How you guys feel about that? No?
I ain't seen nothing to even feel a certain type of way. We didn't see him in the preseason. Didn't see Javonte in the preseason. Don't know what they look like behind our revamped offensive line. So I honestly got a question mark there. I'm anxious to see it just because we don't know what it looks like.
Were they hurt?
No, I don't think none of the starters played during preseason. Like none of them.
None of our starters played either.
It was fitted caps and sunflower seeds.
Yeah.
But
So,
knowing what you
none
know
of our
about Miles
guys
Sanders,
played.
2 years ago with the Eagles, his career year behind our offensive line. Go to the Panthers. Panthers are trash. You know what I'm saying? Their line was trash. He was trash. Bringing him back to a team like the Cowboys should up his game again. Do you think that's possible at all? Or do you think Javonte Williams is his job? He's going to be starting. You probably won't see too much of Booby.
As much as they've been talking about him, it's probably going to be Javonte. And they'll sprinkle Miles in. Yeah. It's just like that. I'm going off of what I've been hearing because I can't go off of what I'm seeing. And as much as they've been praising Javonte, that sounds like that's how they're going to lead. That's the direction they're going to lean in until something else says otherwise.
Either one of those guys as good as Pollard. Both of you guys, either one of you guys can answer this one.
I can't say yes or no at this point because again, I don't know what they're like what they're like behind this line because I've never seen them play in a Dallas uniform in Dallas. So I can't tell you. To me, Pollard matched up very well when he was with Zeke because you had the power back and then you had the home run hitter. I mean, I can't answer that just yet for me. I can't answer that.
Yeah, the jury's still out. The jury, they have the potential to be, but I just don't know. I don't know. That's a big question mark. Like I kind of know what the receiving room would look like, but as far as the run game, I got too many questions.
All right. So, what do you guys think about your offensive line? Like you said, it's a remake offensive line. Are we going back to the Cowboys of old with these young bucks out there? Do you think they have the skill to actually bring that greatness back to that offensive line? Because it hasn't been good the last couple of years. So do you think you guys got the right pieces? You got Guyton over there now, right? You guys drafted another first rounder too, didn't you? Offensive lineman over there.
Yeah.
How do you think these boys will fare up with you guys?
I'm confident in the interior. Between Smith, BB, and Booker, I'm comfortable with them. Steele, he looks better in the run game. And then Guyton is coming off a little tweak injury situation, whatever. Have not confirmed whether he'll be available Thursday or not. But I think we'll be all right. The thing is, the way the Cowboys work in some situations is they try to solve problems by the least aggressive method first and the safest method first. So they said, hey, let's rebuild the line. You know, we lost Travis Frederick a couple years ago. Zach just retired. Tyler Smith went to the Jets before he called it quits. You know, so we've been slowly losing guys. But one thing I appreciate and I applaud is they've been slowly adding guys. I think with the line, we're going to be all right. I just don't know if the backfield can live up to the line, quite honestly.
Yeah, like I'm going to piggyback off of what he was saying is, like we talked about with drafting, right? Outside of drafting offensive linemen, the Cowboys have a hard time struggling drafting anybody outside linemen for whatever reason. So I'm pretty confident with our offensive line, whether Guyton's there or not, that we'll be all right. But we'll just have to see, because again, we didn't see really any of the starters in there. I have not got to see this team play as a unit at least for one snap in the playoffs. You know, I mean, not playoffs, in the preseason. So I don't know what they're going to be like when they're out in the field, you know, together this year.
I'm really mad about this whole preseason thing. Like, I used to like at least when you get to see at least a quarter, sometime a half. You know what I'm saying? Like, where you gotta edge these guys into the season. You know, you took away a preseason game, but now no one ever plays their starters in the preseason. That makes it a lot harder for us as fans to really understand what's going on with our football team offensively or defensively, for that matter. We pretty much only see the guys that are like, you know, second team, third team, who's trying to make the roster type thing. And I think it's kind of unfair for us. I think we should be able to get at least a quarter out of the preseason from somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Just a quarter. Either it's the first game, the second game. Just give me a quarter so I can see what I got on my football team for sure before I start running my mouth about it.
Agreed. Because I mean, even your most top-notch, high-performance vehicles, you could even use NASCAR if you want to. You still got to warm that bad boy up before you hit the track, no matter what's under the hood. You know what I'm saying? Because again, we've seen anything can happen. We've seen guys go out week one countless times in the NFL, and what happens? Done for the season. Soft tissue. Tweak this, pull that, tweak this, tore that. So, you know, I mean, I know they're practicing drills, all that. I know they've been working out throughout the off season, but again, it ain't nothing like when you actually hit that grass between the lights. It's a little bit different. I don't care how much you try to replicate it in practice, how much you try and recreate the game feel. Nothing compares.
No, it's a different mindset and different speed when you get there into the game than what it is and actually practice. You know, I mean, practice is practice. It's there to prepare you for the game, but then once you get into game mode, again, it's a different mindset and a completely different speed than anything else. And you know, just because you're working out or you're running or you're getting conditioning on your hamstrings on your you know, muscles, whatever, like I said, it's a different speed and you're moving differently in these games than what you would be in practice. So
Facts. How do you guys feel about the Eagles now in terms of the run game? Saquon Barkley, top 100. You know, I told everybody it's going to be dramatic change at the beginning of the season last year when you throw a guy like Saquon Barkley behind this offensive line. And you see what happened there. He totally dominated. It was amazing. I loved it. How do you guys feel about the Saquon in our offensive line? You know, how do you guys match up against it?
You go ahead first.
Well, you got your whole. To be honest with you, I couldn't tell you about your offensive line. Did anybody leave? Did y'all get everyone back?
The only one we lost was Becton. But we had Steen the whole time. You know what I'm saying? He was supposed to be the guy. Steen. So Steen was starting last year. Then Becton, we took back Becton from the Jets. He was just too big, too physical. Then, that's when we let him run with it. But Becton got signed to a big contract with San Diego Chargers, and we got Steen from Alabama.
Question for you. What's up with Landon?
What was that?
What's up with Landon? Is he good?
Dickerson, man. Dickerson's is a dinosaur, man. He's old school football, Is he good? What's good for him? He can have a twisted ankle and be good. You look at the playoff run last year, his back was destroyed, and he kept playing the whole playoff run. You know what I'm saying? Him and Jergy both went out there and played. So if you hear around the league, like he's full practice. I looked at the injury report here, and it said, if I'm not mistaken, he was full practice today. Do I have it on here? Yeah, full practice. Yeah, everybody was full practice except for Tanner McKee. So, yeah, he's full practice. He's full go. If they do decide to take it easy, because he did have a back incident, I guess, in practice yesterday, if they do, Brett Toth will be the starter. You know what I'm saying? Brett Toth, he's been on our team. Another guy that's been on our team for the last, 5 years, came in as spot start for players when they got hurt. He don't really miss a beat with Brett Toth either. He's not Landon Dickerson, obviously, but he's definitely still good.
But what I will say about this, about Saquon going against the Cowboys, that was your question. We're going to have to see because, again, we just got Kenny Clark. Don't know how that defensive line is going to be against the run. Three-time Pro Bowler. Finally got a run stopper on the line, something we've been missing for I couldn't even tell you how many years, right?
As I'm looking up at a picture of Antoine Woods in the studio.
We're gonna have to see with how this defensive line for the Cowboys is gonna hold up against Saquon, because Saquon's gonna be Saquon, right? He's gonna get what he's gonna get. He's a great runner. He's a great talent, right? I mean, he is what he is. So we're gonna see what this new addition with Kenny Clark on the defensive line is gonna be like. So again, I can't really answer that question because we just got Kenny Clark. So I need to see what this defensive and that goes back to preseason, right? We don't get to see our starters and none of that to be running our mouths. So what y'all are gonna see is I'm gonna see Thursday night, and then we can have the jury out. Jury's gonna be out then, right? At that point. So
right. What about let's go to receivers, guys? Like I know I talked to Boys for Life about this. You guys always had a number 2 receiver, I feel like, when you looked at Cooper, Brooks, was it Brooks? No, what's the name? Cooks.
Cooks. Yeah.
Cooks.
Yeah.
How big of a bigger impact do you think you'll be having Pickens on those roster this year?
I get to salivating. Well, before I answer that, let me answer this as far as the line and the run game for y'all.
You did it.
I believe your line is going to be solid. I believe Saquon again is going to be Saquon. I do, however, like, I was down for a second, but once I looked at compensation and I really began to look at the football possibilities of the Micah Parsons trade, initially, yes, a strength has been weakened, but a weakness has been strengthened. And I honestly believe that our pass rush and our defensive line pursuit will be different. I don't think it'll be worse. Don't think it'll be better. I think it'll be different. And I think the difference by having that push in the middle from a Clark will help make everybody else's job better.
Yeah.
And when you look at the edges as far as Fowler and Nealon, those two individuals, I believe, are very disciplined in their pursuit. They'll maintain the edge. I believe that's what got us in a lot of trouble last year. Guys just being too greedy, rushing to the inside, you know what I'm saying? And then, whoop, runner goes right past them. Ole, I think that's how we'll be different. If we can keep Saquon under 150, good.
150, Jesus.
If we can keep him,
if he gets to 150, the game gonna be over, my God.
Listen,
is he already at 150? The game gonna be over.
125. That's better. If we keep him under a buck, you probably can kiss the baby. Real talk. Like, that's just how I'm looking at it. And I think we'll with having Clark, and then we got Murray now and Leofow. Eberflus is the linebacker whisperer. I'm confident in his abilities. The same way y'all kind of feel about Fangio is kind of the same way I feel about Eberflus as far as the linebacker room is concerned. You know what I'm saying? I was
going to ask you that. How do you guys feel about your new defensive coordinator?
I think that middle is going to be stout. I got some question marks as far as coverages and movements and things of that nature, but the linebacker room, I ain't even worried about it. And it could be, even occasionally throwing Sanborn in the mix, and a couple other guys. I think we'll be all right as far as that's concerned. I don't think the run game is going to be an onslaught like people think. I think we're going to challenge y'all better than we did last year. I'll say that.
Well, y'all got swept last year, so hopefully you guys can bring it back to the split in the division games. Because I feel like another sweep is coming. But I'm very good. You got to be hyped.
What I'm going to give y'all credit on, and just looking at last year, and this is super credit. I don't know if I've even heard anybody say it. I don't even know if I heard y'all say it. But truth be told, y'all didn't lose a game last year under full strength. Because in the beginning, AJ was out. Yeah. And then you had Smitty was out for a little hot second too, right? And then Hurts was out the last 3 games. That's the only time y'all took an L is when you weren't at full strength. So that's just a testament to the squad last year. I hate Philly. Y'all know what it is, but at the same time, I'm also a footballer and a realist. You know what I'm saying? I was like, God damn, that's because I was like, just trying to find tape to look to see where the weaknesses were exposed. I couldn't do it in the pure form that I wanted to because it was like, okay, well, they were down this big, heavy person, in the lineup.
They went like 16-17 after the bye week. 16-17. 16 out of 17 games. We lost that one in Washington. Yeah. And they hurt Jalen Hurts with that whatever hit from Lulu. And he was out in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And that was like the only ones that was the only game we lost. And people don't realize too, we dominated a lot of games where our backups played a lot of football last year. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of games in the third and fourth quarter we had backups playing because the games were already out of hand. So it's gonna be a nice. It just feels good to be Eagles fan. Let's just say that.
Look, I know I'm late to the party. I don't know if the question was asked.
Let's go with it.
But how are you feeling about that secondary against the dynamic duo?
To be honest, like I told her before, I look at it like this. Slay was great. We're gonna miss him. I feel like we should have paid him the $10 million to keep him for one more year. If all he wants to play is one more year, we should have just gave him the $10 million, whatever. Rodgers, I feel like
work, yeah.
If you didn't give Slay the money, you should have gave it to Rodgers, right? You should have gave it to Rodgers, give him the what? He got $5-6 million to go to Minnesota to be their starting cornerback. So I'm sitting there huh? And then I look at, we got Adoree Jackson, which I'm a huge USC fan, so I love Adoree Jackson personally. He hasn't really showed his super potential in the NFL or whatnot, but I do see quality of a starter, obviously, throughout his career. Then we all really were banking on Ringo. I think that's what the thing was. We had all these Georgia Eagle, Bulldog, Philly dogs on the team, and we were like, okay, now it's just he's the last piece out of the Philly dogs that need to come up, step up, and start.
Bro, I live in Georgia, dog. So with every dog pick y'all took, I was like,
dang, another one. Yeah. I'll be up there a lot. I'll be going to that Rocky Mountain Pizza and watch my Eagles games up there. It's pretty late over there. But yeah, so and then we got Bennett from the Raiders. So that was another cat that needed some time. So I don't know. I feel like that the development of Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, because even Cooper DeJean right now still gets reps on the outside. I think he's our safety blanket if we have to go that route. I think Vanchu doesn't want to go that route because he's such a great look. He made the top 100 players as a nickel cornerback. When did that ever happen? You know what I'm saying? Like he's a beast at the nickel and safety, and I think he don't want to have to use him at the other cornerback spot. But right now, I think it's Adoree Jackson and
don't forget about Jordan Lewis. Don't forget about J. Lou.
Yeah, it's their job to lose, man. And I feel like right now they're gonna hold it down. I feel like they can really hold it down there. I think Adoree. I want Adoree to hold it down, but watching Bennett from the Raiders, like he locked out a lot of top flight receivers last year. In the 10 games he started. I'm saying he shut Jamar Chase down. He's the best receiver in football. One of the best receivers in football besides AJ and JJ. So I feel like he has the capabilities of being a star. He's young, he's talented, he's fast. I want him to steal the spot from Adoree Jackson, but right now I think we're fine with Adoree Jackson leading the way if that's what we do on Thursday night.
Okay.
How do you guys see it happening?
As far as the wide receivers going up against those DBs?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's I like it. I like it because CD is kind of hard to blanket. Like it's kind of hard to get him, cover him one-on-one. I mean, especially when he's
you go to quick combo, Bay.
I like him when he's in the slot. They got to move him around a little bit, but it's going to be hard to double him and then try to stop Pickens, in my opinion. And then not only do you have Pickens to deal with, I think Turpins is going to come into his own at some point. I mean, as with the trick plays or whatever it is with him, you're going to have to keep eyes on him because he is fast. He is, agile. But I think that y'all secondary is going to have a little bit of a hard time, especially since, again, we didn't see anybody in the preseason, none of our starters. So, and we talked about game speed is a lot different when it's time for game time. And CD's already been proven. Pickens has been proven. You got a lot of guys that are still, like you said, trying to reach that level, to where you're comfortable. So I think the Cowboys on the wide receiver side is gonna be a little bit better than the DBs over there. And I think we'll be all right.
Yeah. The obvious is CD and Pickens, right? But even after that, you still got to deal with Jake Ferguson. You still will have to deal with Kevontae Turpin. That you talking about speed? That's speed right there. And he's got some solid hands, and the guy's physical. I expect Shoddy to use him in the passing game, but I expect them to use him also. It's kind of a gadgety player, if you will. I hope it's not the same simple reverses that we saw from McCarthy last year, but remember this name. You heard it here. Ryan Flournoy. He is a big body receiver. We've been playing musical chairs since last week, but we released him, and then I was furious because to me, in my eyes, he was the best receiver that I saw in training camp. And again, good frame, good size, pretty decent speed. And I believe he could possibly play a big role this week, especially with Jonathan Mingo being injured to start the season.
So they actually brought him to the 53-man roster. So he's on it for this week.
Not yet.
Not yet. All right.
But I believe it's possible.
That's like what you just said. Like, I'm not worried, to be honest, on the receiver game. The only one I am worried about is Pickens. The other guys, like I said, slot's locked down. You know what I'm saying? We got the best slot in football as a rookie last year. That's Cooper DeJean. You know, he plays the tight ends, he plays the receivers in the slot. They did say Quignon's going to travel more this year than he did last year. So if, you know, Lambs try to, you know, switch that slot, I'm pretty sure you're going to see Quignon follow him there. Our safety, Blankenship, is he's still a good safety. You know, we look at Makuba to take over that whole, you know, DJ position, which I think healthy he can do this year. It's going to take him a game or two, I think, you know, but he's going to be one of those guys that make plays but actually give up a couple plays in the beginning, first couple of games of the season because he is a rookie. But I'm not really worried about the Ferguson, like the middle of the field type stuff. I'm really worried about the outside. You know what I'm saying? Like the outside, when Pickens is on the outside against a short-ass Adoree Jackson, you know what I'm saying? When Pickens is on the outside, we don't got Ringo. Ringo's big, physical, tall. We wanted him to start because of his, you know, athleticism, his height, his size, you know what I'm saying? And since he hasn't started yet, we're still like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? Like, goddamn you, Ringo. But if he were to start or if he were to play, you know, because I think even Bennett from the Raiders isn't that tall. He's another one of those, 6-foot cornerbacks. So that's the biggest thing. And Pickens, because, you know, I feel like they haven't had enough good quarterbacks in Pittsburgh to really show his full potential. And everybody knows Dak Prescott's a regular season, you know, god. You know what I'm saying? He's coverage time stats or whatever stats you want to call it. In the regular season, he is the man. You know what I'm saying? In terms of throwing that football when he's healthy. And a guy like Pickens that can, you know, make one-handed catches, contested catches. He's deep ball guy. He's a short yard guy. He can do whatever you want him to do, you know, especially since he's not the main target like he was in Pittsburgh. He's going to be the number 2 here, you know, behind a guy like Lamb, man. Like, he really can carve up some things, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just, like I said, Adoree, Bennett, you got your test, your first week test. So whoever starts this game out of Adoree, Bennett, I don't think Ringo's in the race to start no more. It's out of Adoree and Bennett right now. And whoever starts, if they start getting lit up, this is going to be the last start for the season for sure. You know, because the other guy will have to play.
Let me ask you this. How confident are you? You mentioned guys playing last year. How confident are you in your defensive line depth? As far as and really I want to, as far as the endurance factor, as far as, I mean, because, you know, when y'all out there, it's one of the better lines in the league, arguably. But when guys need to take a timeout or a play or two off or whatever, how confident are you in the guys who will replace them?
More than last year, I'm more confident, I would say. In terms of the defensive line, just because, Jalen Carter did not miss a snap last year. He played every down. You know what I'm saying, on defense. Every down. As a second-year player. You know, dominant. But I feel like you might want to take him out a couple of games to keep that, you know, that energy going. And I think the development of, like I said, we were talking about earlier, Jordan Davis developing at the end of last season. Going to the playoffs, getting a couple of sacks now, and even going into the offseason, losing some more weight, being more athletic. Even like Jalen Carter's like, he's even faster than I am right now. And they have a man that size who automatically gets double teamed just for his size alone. You know what I'm saying? Forget a skill thing. Just his size is a double team. And now you're adding more pass rush in there. I think in the playoffs, he had like 2.5, 3 sacks last playoff. And that's something we didn't see from him. For years, we were waiting to see that side of Jordan Davis. But like I tell people, it took Fletcher Cox a while before he got 10 sacks in the season. You know what I'm saying? But he was still one of the best defensive linemen in the game. I think that's how it is with Jordan Davis. And then you got Moro Ojomo, who also played Booker. I mean, it was Moro Ojomo and Gabe Hall. They both played last year on our team. You know what I'm saying? They both had their minutes. They both produced when they played. Everybody gives it to Milt Williams for being that third guy that kind of stepped up to become the number two. But I really feel like Moro Ojomo is just it's the same. It's no difference. I don't feel like the Milt Williams, Moro Ojomo, that's that position right there. That's a flush for losing and keeping. You give him one more snaps than he had last year, he's going to produce the same way he did because he was another guy came playoff time. Moro Jomo has playoff sacks. You know what I'm saying? Have playoff pressures that we needed from our defensive line. So I don't really feel like the defensive line can step back, even though you lose a guy like Josh Sweat, but then you replace him with a Jalen Hunt who had even better playoff than Josh Sweat. You know what I'm saying? He was a young rookie who's coming into his second year into the defense, who had a better playoff than Josh Sweat, who led our team in sacks last year. You got Nolan Smith coming back, even stronger, who really showed up after BG went down, who came in, and showed that he deserved to be here. And then you got, even Ty Robinson, the Vanilla Rhino, they call him the Vanilla Rhino. That guy right there is beasting people. Even Jalen Carter's giving him praise right now. So I think our line's gonna be great, and I think it might even be better than last year because I feel like we're faster, more younger, more excited to get there. You know what I'm saying? Like I just love the whole approach of our whole team, but even our defensive linemen. Like it's just this year, no one was satisfied with that Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Like this ain't 2017 or when we won a Super Bowl and everybody was on their high horse thinking we were the best. They're not even coming out for banner drop this game. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys really put that shit to the back and said, this is a whole new season and we got to do it all over again. Like they got that whole dog mentality, like put it to behind us and we're going to go out there and win another one type mentality because we got the stars on this team to do it. When you got 10 top 100 players on your team, you know what I'm saying? Like from the players go, you got something to mess with. It's up to them. Like I feel like for the last 3 years, the Eagles, the only people that really beat the Eagles are the Eagles. And we beat ourselves when we lose games. It's never been really. I can't really recall in the last 3 years too many games where it's like, oh, that team was that much better than us. They just slaughtered us. They just kicked our ass. You know what I'm saying? Like it's always been us doing stupid stuff, doing things, giving up the game at the late in the end of the game. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that that really, contributed to our losses.
So interesting fact. So I'm here in Georgia, and Nolan Smith is a local. He went to high school partially here. Even closer than that, my first cousin and his father are first cousins. Like
What?
so he was presented the key to the city here over the summer. He had a golf tournament locally. So yeah, he's kind of the hometown favorite. So it's kind of like when y'all won, it's kind of almost like being in, for me, it's kind of almost like being in y'all city and just having to see it because it was up front and in my face. So that's why, I mean, at the end of the day, y'all still Philly, but for me, that's why it's a little bit more motivation just because it's in my face. I can't turn
within our Eagle applications, guys. If you guys, I know a lot of people said when the Micah Parsons trade happened, they don't want to be Cowboy fans no more. We got Eagle applications. You can come over to the real side and be Eagle fans if you guys like. But like one of them said, ask you guys, say, well, how do you guys feel about your defensive line? Yeah, Mozzie Smith. Everybody's like, oh, it's gonna be better than Jalen Carter coming out. All these guys in that defensive line compared to, the Eagles defensive line. Like, how do you feel about that defensive line?
I'm gonna let you go first.
I know you didn't see it this year, you guys said, but like you guys know what you got there and how you feeling about it.
Y'all's defensive line or our defensive line?
You guys' defensive line.
I'm appreciative of Kenny Clark. I'm gonna tell you that much. like needed it now. Like this, I'm not saying it just because it's cool and because Micah's going. I was saying it all summer long with the rest of the content creators, Boss Cowboy, Loose Takes, HTM, Landlord, Big Time Show. We were all battling for one take over the course of the summer. So yeah, I know the way we got it was a little funky, but nonetheless, I can't be screaming and preaching all summer, and then we finally get what I've been asking for, and then I poo-poo on it. I can't do that. So I'm grateful for him. I looked at the tape, y'all playing him last year just to see how he did. He did a pretty decent job, and considering the fact that he was dealing with a foot injury, because a couple of times he got double teamed, he got pushed. He did. You could tell he was kind of off balance. He was just trying not to have that weight pressured on that foot, but he had surgery back in January. He's supposed to be healthy now. I believe that will, because I'm a former LB, and I always say you can't hit what you can't see. And so now the fact that we got some beef up front who will possibly be able to negate that push and those combos and double teams from y'all, it's going to make life for my linebackers a lot easier. And the thing with Saquon, incredible athlete, great back, but when you can get up on him before he gets up on you, you have a much higher chance of success. If you can get penetration, as I feel we will, you can make him hesitate, you can make him pivot or select another hole. Now you're allowing time for more help to arrive to the scene. So I think that's how this defense will be better. The defensive line will be better than last year. I know a lot of people are concerned about the pass rush aspect, right? If what I'm hearing is true, and Diggs will be on the field week 1, I'm not really worried about that pass rush, because the way the NFL is getting now, and as quickly as they're training quarterbacks to get the ball out their hand, sometimes pass rush can be negated just off of scheme alone. So I honestly believe, even without Micah, because Fowler had an incredible year last year, we can't poo-poo on that. Nealon is getting better, stronger, and he's developing his pass rush. I honestly believe we can get a couple of coverage sacks, if you will, just based on our guys potentially being able to mask your receivers up, even for a little while, to allow some time to get back.
Yeah, I mean, for a while, they lost me with that whole, your guys. You know what receivers we have on our team? A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. A.J. Brown, the best one-on-one receiver in the game in the last 4 years. Devontae Smith, the Slim Reaper, who always open too. Like, that's a tall task. And your boy Diggs is coming off of injury. You know what I'm saying? There were even questions that he was going to even start or not at her. You know? So I feel like this is what I'm saying. When I really talk to you guys about your team, it's more about the future of your team this year as opposed to this first game. Like, maybe even the second game might be a little bit more interesting. I really feel like the last-minute trade for Parsons, you know, even with a Clark, he's only, 4 days in, 3 days in. He's not going to be freaking ready to roll, you know, come game 1. You know what I'm saying? This is more for the future of the Cowboys. The Eagles are locked in, my guy. Like, we have the best. Like, we might be the only team I've ever remembered. Like, we're pretty much the best at every position. There's really not too many positions that we're not the best. Like, we got the number 1 running back in the game. You know what I'm saying? He was just voted top 100 by his all players. Number 1. You know, I feel like we got the number 1 quarterback in the game. This arguably, you know, people say Burrows, people say Allen, people say Patty, people say, you know, Burrow, Lamar. But I think Jalen's the best. You know, he does what he has to do when he has to do it. You know, we got the best receiver duo. Some people might say Chase and Higgins, but I think Devontae and Smitty are better. You know, like, these guys are just – we got the best offensive line. I know no one gets to really battle that. Like, even with a Becton going, Becton wasn't even a starter before last year. We just pulled him off of a team. It was like, hey, You don't want your first round pick. He sucks in your team. Bring him on our team. He's so big and physical. We're gonna make him a starting guard. He played tackle before he came over here. You know what I'm saying? We brought him over here. You're our starting guard. You're gonna be the best. He went off, got a big paycheck, whatever. So I'm not really worried about offensive line. Dowling University is like the best university to go to if you're an offensive lineman. Like, I don't know, man. I just got a little uneasy a little bit there. Like, I don't really feel like no one can stop AJ for real like that. Like, not even Diggs. But I feel like Guantanamo Bay is a real thing because he went through a whole season, as a rookie and shut down all the top. Even your boy Lamb shut down all the top receivers all year long. And he's only going to get better this year, his second year, and Vic Fangio's defense. Plus, you got Cooper DeJean, which I don't know how Cooper DeJean gets more love. It's talked about way more than Quinyon Mitchell. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of weird to me. Kind of like don't understand that. Like, how does what I'm saying? Like, everybody talk about Cooper DeJean. You don't really hear too much about Quinyon. Quinyon put it down, and at the end of last year, he learned how to intercept the football. I think that's the biggest difference from making him, a good shutdown corner. You got to be able to take the ball away. And I think those first 15 games, he didn't have an interception. He didn't have an interception until playoffs. So it's like if he can incorporate that, which he's been doing in practice so far. And that's the thing with us. Did you guys have joint practices this year?
Yeah, we did with the Rams.
Rams.
Were you guys able to see those ones though? Like, I didn't look at it, but were you guys able to watch any of those or whatnot?
No, I didn't. I don't watch any of them.
Yeah, I saw a handful of clips.
Yeah. No, they were clips. They weren't like the actual practice itself. It was just like a clip here and there, but
more so highlights than anything.
Yeah.
Because with that, like, you can see, but then you said like Diggs was even out then too. Wasn't he out most of that time too?
Yeah, Diggs has been out since last year.
Yeah. And that's the thing. We hadn't been able to put two things together, man. Like, as much as we've been wanting to see Blandon Diggs, it just really hadn't happened like that. One or the other was out, So I'll be interested to see that. I hate the fact that we lost J-Lou, but I think we'll be all right.
Yeah.
So let's go to the matchup, like we said. Now we're talking about running game. How do you guys take our linebackers? Because I think the Eagles, for a long time, we didn't have linebackers. You know what I'm saying? Like, that just, for some reason, we couldn't draft them. We couldn't get them. We always had these undersized guys that weren't doing the job. And now, all of a sudden, we got this big guy, Zach Bond. We can drafted Campbell, from Alabama. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is playing great. You know what I'm saying? And then we have one more linebacker. Oh, Nakobe Dean, who's hurt. Should be back, after the first 4 weeks. Week 5, he should be back. So how do you guys feel about our linebacking core as a whole? But then even, like, have you guys seen anything about Campbell? How do you like what Campbell's doing, and how do you think your run games will fare up against them?
I think Campbell will do all right. I believe he'll get better as the season progresses. But let me ask you this. Is he healthy?
Yeah.
Okay.
He has not missed a practice since we started off-season workouts. Everybody said that because even I remember our defense coordinator Vic Fangio in the very beginning of preseason or the off-season, he was like, "Yeah, we don't know. We're not going to get Nakobe for a while, but we might not even get Campbell for a while." That's why Jeremiah Trotter had a lot of the snaps. But since preseason game 1, he's been out there terrorizing people. He's given 3 of our players so far concussions. Dallas got a concussion from him. The fullback we got, Bam Bam Surran, got a concussion. The fullback got a concussion from him. We've been getting mad at him, telling him he needs to ease up on our players. That's how much of a beast he's been this offseason. Plus, in the preseason games, he's been getting sacks and pressures like none other. They say he could be like the next Micah Parsons. I don't know. I'm not one to throw names out. Like, for me, rookies got to go prove it. You got to go out there and prove it first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey, like my boy Ball said, hey, show me, man.
You gotta go show me. But the dude's a beast, and he comes from Alabama. He's a beast, Georgia, Alabama. Well, that's all we got on our football team, man. We went out and got Mechie on our team. We went out and dropped Baker on our team. We got like 11 Bama players and 11 Georgia Bulldog players, which is smart if you're a GM. That's what you should have did because they're the best two teams in college football.
Howie got it tight.
All right. But the thing is, we begged Howie for years. For years, he would not draft an SEC player. He was just not down with the hype. He was like, nah, just because they're hyped up. Because I don't know what he really thought, but he was not down with drafting none. We went draft until Devontae Smith is when we changed everything. Until Devontae Smith, when we changed everything. We got Devontae Smith in that first round. That changed everything. And then since then, we've been like lighting him up with the. And if you see now, he became the best GM in football. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't rocket science. You go to the best schools and pick the best players off the best teams. That's all you got to do in the draft. That's what the draft's there for, literally. And so you can go get the best player for the best school. But a lot of times, nowadays in the draft, you be seeing these people hype up somebody from a D3 school that had amazing stats. And the D3 Carson Wentz, for example. You know what I'm saying? Like North Dakota State. Who the fuck ever watched a North Dakota State game in their life? You know what I'm saying? Like, no one ever watched North Dakota State, my guy. Like, we don't care about that school. We care about the big dogs. Miami, the Florida. We don't care about those.
I went to go see my nephew. Shout out to him. I went to go see him, and he played for South Dakota State. Bruh, it was definitely all love because nothing else would have brought me there. And he was cool. He was nice. He was a nice player. Like, a couple of his teammates, they did make it to the league, but it's like, yeah, the competition level is definitely far less. Every now and then you get your diamonds in the rough, but the vast majority, nah.
Yeah, man. So, and it's just like, just to make that one difference, that's really like set our team apart from what it used to be. It's just that one change. Change your mindset where you want to get your players from. Forget who's the fastest from the small school. Forget who you think have talent from these small. We pick Jalen Rager over Justin Jefferson. Like, what kind of ridiculous shit is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, we supposed to put the prototype.
I'm glad you
did. I bet you were glad that year we did. You know what I'm saying? Because imagine we had JJ right now. Oh, JJ, AJ, and Devontae. Oh, Lord.
Imagine if you had JJ, you probably
wouldn't. One guy you guys
have.
do need to worry about is Dotson this year. I will tell you that. Because I really feel like this first game right now, like, especially I'm a betting man too. I always betting on FanDuel and all that other stuff. Everybody's going to really be putting their money on Saquon. They're going to be putting their money on AJ. They can put their money on Devontae. But I think, dude, for real, this might be a Jahan Dotson game. To be honest with you. Dallas got a Jahan Dotson game. Because you do have a Diggs. And if Diggs is healthy, I know AJ is the man, but he's going to lock him down. You know what I'm saying? Some of the time. They both win. Whenever you got two good corner, a good receiver, they kind of lock each other down. You know what I'm saying? Like, where, yeah, you might make a play here, but you're going to miss a play there, And Jalen Hurts isn't that quarterback. If you looked at – everybody hates on Jalen Jarvis last year, but he was the best in terms of quarterback percentage he's ever been in last year, 69%. You know what I'm saying? When he made plays with the ball. It wasn't no little dink and dunk. The thing is, he didn't throw that much, but when he did throw, they were dots and dimes, you know what I'm saying, for like good yards and stuff like that. So I really feel like this year, Jahan Dotson, it took till Jalen was out those last 3 games of the season when Tanner McGee came in, and he had 300 yards passing or something like that. And Jahan was his number one guy. Kenny Pickett came in. Jahan's number one guy, you know what I'm saying? It took to Jalen to see that he could actually be that guy. And they worked this offseason together. And now they're locked in together. And I think from that point on, you see them that first playoff game last year in Green Bay. Boom, touchdown, Jahan Dotson. You see the Super Bowl, which should have been a touchdown, Jahan Dotson. He was down at the 1 yard line. You know what I'm saying? And I think they carried that over to this year. And I think if you're a betting man, I will put some money like Jahan Dotson having a good game this year. Because who is you guys' third cornerback?
I really don't know how they. I think it's gonna be Elam.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be Elam, and if it's Elam, we'll be all right. I'm not now. I do believe, for the same reasons that I said, Turpin and Flournoy may get off, and Fergie is the same reason I believe you may be right as far as Dotson is concerned.
Yeah,
I really do. I think both teams gonna be focused on the key players so much, the stars so much. It's gonna be them unsung heroes who are gonna make this game.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, Turpin's the guy I watch out for. I really think he's gonna make an impact in the special team. There's one weakness about it. The special team is somewhere where you can make a big impact, and I think Turpin can definitely.
I'm gonna say this before I gotta go, especially since you brought up the special teams. Watch for Turpin. I think he's gonna be the X factor of, when we do get those punts, to get the Eagles a punt to flip that side of the ball for the field for us, to get us in a better field position to get that score. Because I mean, look, it is what it is. Cowboys have trouble scoring once they get inside the 20. No matter who the coach is, no matter who the quarterback is, it's been like that for years. But I think, watch for Turpin to either get a touchdown this year, either the kick return or a punt return. But he's going to be a big X factor for that special teams to help the offense have a better field position when we do get those punts. So,
before we get out of here, boys, life.
You what?
Give me 3 hot takes and your score prediction before we get out of here.
Hot takes. Kenny Clark is going to help the Dallas Cowboys stop that run game and have Saquon under 110 this game. Watch for watch for Pickens to be the X factor in this game right here, as far as on the opposite side of the ball. Even though he is new to the Cowboys, I think Eagles know what CeeDee Lamb is like, and how well he can be, how well he plays. And I know they've all seen George Pickens, but I think watch Pickens. You can't double both of them, right? You can't cover both of them. Watch Pickens to have, I don't know, about 95 plus yards this year with this game with a touchdown. And I'm going to give the Cowboys the win 34-31.
Oh, my God. That was horrible. That's the most horrible thing I've heard.
We're going to be in a shootout, in my opinion. I mean, we haven't seen this defense without Parsons, right, this year. Well, we haven't seen any of our starters this year on the defense side of the ball. But I think Kenny Pickens is going to – or Kenny Clark, not Pickens. Kenny Clark is going to help this team on the run, on the offense. I mean, stopping the run, which will make Jalen Hurts throw the ball a lot more or take off for runs. I think Jalen Hurts is going to have about 50, 60 yards in rushing when he runs the ball, and he's got to take off the run. So, but that's all I got. I got to get ready for work in the morning. So, y'all have a good one.
Hey, thanks for coming out of retirement for me, my guy. You always get the clutch. If you want to come back out, that we're still waiting for you, my guy. Get back out there and make the videos.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all have a good one. Later.
Hold it down, man. Take care.
Yes, sir. You too. Bye.
Big Simple, I know you did not just come in here talking smack, talking about Cowboys winning 30-27, and you're a Commanders fan. Come on, my guy. Come on.
I think it's going to be a lot closer than what people think, man. I really do. It has the potential to be a lot closer. The newness, the freshness. I'm anxious to see how Patullo steps into this new role too. I'm curious to see, because we know who Kellen Moore is, and he was in essence made to lie down in green pastures and hand that damn ball off to Saquon last year. But I'm curious to see how he does transitioning, into his new role. I'm curious to know what the game flow looks like. It's a lot I'm gonna be looking for.
Even your offense is different this year, right?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, we changed every coach with the exception of our tight end coach, and that was Lunda Wells and Shoddy. Everybody else is brand spanking. So we got Eberflus from Chicago. We got Sorensen. It's a whole lot of fresh cats, some new ideas. So it's going to be interesting to see how they attempt to scheme this game, where they feel their strengths are. And I really want to see Shoddy, if he really bought that life and he's going to be committed to the run game, even if it's not successful. A lot of times last year, Mike McCarthy, he'll try it 2-3 times. It don't look like how he want. We bombed it out the rest of the game. I don't want to lose that. I believe we got to keep y'all honest by doing this. I believe Dak Prescott is at his best when he's the beneficiary of a play action game. That's just what it is.
It's just everybody. Like, I know the league is turning into a pass happy league, but one has like the most guy with the most passing yards won a Super Bowl. Like, it's not a winning formula just because it's more exciting for the fans. That's why you think the Eagles been so dominant recently. We run the football. Even in the beginning of the season, we start passing too much. What the fans do? Run the ball, and they stop and they run the football. You got to run the football no matter what. And I really feel like you give these guys, Booby Miles, you give what's the other guy you guys that got over there, Williams or whatever. You give these guys rock, man, with some open lanes. They can make some things happen, man. I've seen Booby have the most, rushing yards, 70+ yards in the season before Saquon just destroyed that. I've seen him do it on our team, and I think that's another thing that people need to watch out for, because he already said that every game against the Eagles is personal. We didn't want to pay him. He's mad about it. His career, he went and got paid somewhere else, but his career went down the tube. Now he's with the Cowboys for a reason. He want to come back and show the Eagle what time it is. And I can't blame him. If I was about to say the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't want to pay me, watch what I do to you. And I don't remember exactly which running back it was, but I remember there was also this running back that it didn't matter. Whenever they played a certain team was when they went off. I think that might be a thing with Booby. I'm not saying he's going to be your star throughout the season. I think when he sees that green on the other side of the field, that's going to make him do his thing. I do got him a couple parlays, hoping that Booby does have a decent game.
Hey, man, get that bread, man. Get that bread.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of the things where it's just like, logically speaking, you look at the teams, you think the Eagles should blow them out. And I really think that this is going to be maybe not a complete blowout. I think Eagles always start out the first game of the season all right until like halftime. That's when they kind of like pull away. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you look at the Green Bay last year, it wasn't no straight blowout, in Brazil. That was a tough fought game, what I'm saying, that we had to win out there. So it's just like, I don't really feel like, even with the loss of Micah Parsons, because Micah never really did nothing against us anyway. Like, even when he was there, like, he had like 1-2 sacks on Lane ever. Like, Lane really hasn't gave up a real sack, in 4 years now. So it's like, he did a little, but he didn't really do much. You know what I'm saying? I think it is a different dynamic having a guy like Clark that actually can stop a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, when we drafted Jordan Davis, he stopped the problem for us. There's a run game up the field. It's not happening.
The thing with Micah is a lot of his contributions don't necessarily show up on the stat sheet. Because at the end of the day, you still got to account for him. You still got to slide to him. You still may need to chip him. So you have to allocate resources to that young man. So even though he might not necessarily show up on the play sheet, it just makes everybody's job a little easier. The same way it's to me, it's apples to
With
oranges.
Jalen Carter, 'cause I'm a huge Eagle fan, right? But I'm not so 100% like everybody else is with Jalen Carter. I love Jalen, but I want to see some numbers. Goddamn it, you know what I'm saying? Like I want to see some sacks. If you this guy that you supposed to be, Aaron Donald says you're the next him. You say you're the next Aaron Donald. Well, what does Aaron Donald do? He gets sacks. You know what I'm saying? So if you didn't compare him to him, I probably would be like, damn, he's an awesome defensive tackle. I love it. You know what I'm saying? Because I never really cared that flex so you get the sack like that.
This is what, year 3 for him?
Yeah. I want to see the complete
his own. Yeah, he should be.
I want to see the complete package this year.
Because honestly and truthfully, it's not. It's only a handful minus a couple of D tackles that come in the league and make an impact instantly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's one of those you got to grow into. You got to get your grown man strength on. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot to be able to learn and understand the nuances, from the collegiate level to the NFL level. How guys have gotten so much better from that jump with their handwork. They're stronger. People are faster. You thought you was faster than everybody you lined up against in college, but guess what? Everybody else you line up against now pretty much has the same speed. So it's like you don't have the clear-cut advantage that you thought you once did. So now it's up to you to sharpen those tools and work on your craft to where you can get some separation and be better than the competition. That's what he's going to have to do to be successful. That's what we've been preaching for with Mozzie Smith. He's showing improvement. Hey, dude, I need you to be more consistent. I need your motor to be high till it cut off. You know what I'm saying? I don't need you taking plays off. Be consistent. Clark, I also believe, will help the development of Mozzie. It takes the pressure off. It spells him in the endurance aspect, because Mozzie would start out the game okay, and then as he gets worn down over the course of the game, now you gassed. Whereas if you got Clark taking the brunt of maybe the first half, and then you got a fresh Mozzie coming in, that could potentially be not necessarily a difference maker, but it could be an influence,
Players play better when they have better talent around them. You know what I'm saying? That's just in general. Like players, look at that. Jalen Carter got a lot of people paid last year. You know what I'm saying? He got plenty paid more money. He got Milk paid more money. And it's like, I understand the double team. And like I said, he never missed a down, and you cannot, because there's very few defensive people in general that play every down. Very few in the league. You know what I'm saying? So giving him that, I'm not saying he's not generational. I just want to see it come to full center. I want to see that flower bloom, this year. You know what I'm saying? Before I be like, oh, yeah, he's the best DT of all time. And once he gets there, I will hype him up and being the best DT of all time, baby. You know how I like to do that. I like to do that. Jalen is the best. Saquon is the best. AJ's the best. But I want to see him hit that road. And that's why. But I really said it. Like another thing is like this year, you might even see the rise of Jordan Davis. Like I said, like that's my biggest like sneak player going into this season. I don't think everybody's given enough appreciation to. But I think he worked hard for 4 years now. I think you're about to see the real Jordan Davis. Like with the real Jordan Davis, please stand up. He's about to stand up right now. And this is going to be his season where you see him get – I'm predicting at least 6 sacks. You know what I'm saying? 6 to 8 sacks throughout the regular season to really make his presence felt, because you can't be that big and that fast and that athletic, and not be a disruptive force, Ever since a rookie, he's been stopping the run, like that part of his game. You hear the Eagles fan all the time talk about, we didn't draft the first round just to stop the run. I'm like, yes, we did actually. That's exactly why we drafted him. When we drafted him, because we couldn't stop the run. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the reason we picked this guy up. And for you guys to expect him to do more, you remember the first year we drafted him, right? We were top 5 in run stopping defense, right? And then he got hurt. What happened to our team? And straight down that tube. People were just running the ball all left and right on us. We went out and got Dominican Stu. We went out and got Linval Joseph. We went out and got all these veteran guys to try to plug a hole that was left by him. That's big praise to me when you got to go get 2 Pro Bowler type caliber guys to try to help fill the role. And they couldn't even stop the run the same way. Dominican Sue, And Limbaugh didn't do as good as a job as Jordan Davis does when he's in the game. When he's in the game, we are top 5 every time. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to worry about people talk about his endurance, his stamina, whatnot. I tell them, like, it's kind of like Jalen Hurts. You need him when you need him. He's there. You know what I'm saying? We play all these pass-happy teams. You might not see Jordan Davis play but 30% of the snaps. You know what I'm saying? Because we play a pass-happy team. What do you need to be in there for? He's not a pass rusher. But when we play like the Ravens, when we play like guys to have dominating run games, he's playing over 50% of the snaps of those games. And we are stopping the best running backs in the league. So it's like he's been doing this job from day one. A lot of Eagle fans be like twisted on that. They be like, well, you know, what is he really worth? It's like, man, you better resign this cat ASAP. You know what I'm saying? So he can be anchored in this defensive line for the next like 5 years. He's tripping out on that.
Bro, that's just a testament to the league because you look around like you look at this year's draft. Teams that had a decent back were still drafting backs, which is why I don't know why we really waited as long as we did. But hey, I digress.
Have you heard anything about Blue? Because I wanted to draft Blue too on the Eagles this year. How Blue doing over there?
I think Blue is good. We did see him in the last preseason game. He showed some flash. But as far as depth chart, they got him behind. He's behind Javonte and behind Miles. So they may use him sparingly. He's also back up to Turp as far as special teams return guy as well. So he might see some action there if they kind of want to maybe preserve.
And since you guys don't really have a star, like bona fide, like number 1 RB, he got a chance just as much as the other 2 guys to be the man this year. You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, I don't have a preference, but at the end of the day, I want Shoddy to feed whoever is hot.
So that's what he likes to do. Shoddy likes to run. He likes to run that ball. That's what he likes to do. He likes to run that football.
Honestly, that's what we've missed the last couple years. Like, yeah. And it you know, I look at Jalen Hurts, and he's able to be as cool, calm, and collective as he is because of the weapons. And then you invested in him a run game. I ain't even got to throw for 200. I'll be cool too. You know, it makes a difference when you know you can lean on that. I don't have to force. I don't have to generate and create everything. That's what I want Shoddy in this offense to understand. Look, yeah, I know Four is top paid quarterback in the league, whatever, however you want to slice it and look at it. But you do not have to put all of the weight on Dak Prescott. You don't. Because when you do that, that's how you end up running them into the ground. That's how you end up having him forcing and making mistakes, turning the ball over. And then after Dak turn it over like 2 or 3 times, then he get in his head, and he's pretty much garbage for the rest of the game. You got.
I like to call him Tony Romo 2.0. Until
now, when they're rolling, they're great. But it's like when they off their game, they can be horrible. They off. It's like they don't really in between. It's like he's either great or not. And I'm like, man, come on.
Right?
But he can be
that was Dak. People don't realize, dude, Dak was another quarterback I wanted on the Eagles. When we drafted Carson Wentz, I want us not to draft Carson and wait and grab Dak, the next round or 2. And it didn't happen that way. We ended up with Carson Wentz. But I'm saying, like, Dak is guy. But I'm just like, I just get the Tony Romo vibes from him. Like regular season all day. But when it comes to crunch time, visions on the line, first, second round of playoffs, it's like, man, he just turns to a whole other cat.
It's because in the games we lost, it's because we forgot about this. We forgot how to do it, And it's like then you put all that weight on him. He get in his head. He get to having that deer in headlights look, sitting at the end of the bench by himself. And then it's like, it's only gets worse from here. But the run
and it's not really his fault, I don't think. I just think that's just the way of the league. Like we were talking about earlier, everybody wants to pass. Like I feel like offensive coordinators.
The league is transitioning. That's why you want to successful is because you invested ahead of time what was going to negate a lot of these offenses. Yeah, I know a lot of people for a long time said it's a passing league, but pay attention. It is slowly reverting back to investing in the run game. People forgot about it. But
I feel like it never left. Because even when the Chiefs won those Super Bowls, you got to realize Pacheco had great years that year. Those years, Hunt had good years with him. You know what I'm saying? When you look at the Bills, you know, when the Bills get the farthest, Cooks had great years. You know, the Ravens, obviously, Derrick Henry, you know, Lamar Jackson running all over the place. Last year, in general, the top three backs, their teams all went to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like
it was rare, though. It was only a couple teams doing it. Like you had teams who would have success, like us, during the regular season with the pass. Then you get to the playoffs, it get cold, and now you can't muster up drives because you don't have a commitment to the run game. The teams who have been successful, even if they didn't have crazy, gaudy rushing yards, just having that commitment and being balanced is what helped those quarterbacks, what kept those defenses on their heels, not just being able to tee off.
Because people don't realize the run sets up the pass. You know, I feel like for a long time they try to make the pass set up the run. It don't really work that way. The run sets up the pass every time. You got to run a game, you got to pass the game. There's very few running teams that can run the ball really good that can't pass the football, unless they have crappy ass receivers. You know what I'm saying?
Or QB.
Or a horrible quarterback that can't throw the football.
Right.
But most times, if you got a good quarterback, good receivers, you run that football first, you definitely gonna have a nice offense moving forward. Because it's always been that way. Times never change. It's always the same. No matter what the NFL wants to go to, no matter what, there's always gonna be the running back. You know what I'm saying? The running back is a position you can never leave out of your offense. Whenever we tried to do that, that's what happened to us after the first Super Bowl. We tried to eliminate the running back and try to throw the ball 50, 60 times a game. And we look like trash. Who the hell is going to throw the football 50 times a game? From picks to just 3 and outs, all that stuff is just putting too much wear and tear on your defense. You got to run the ball. Let your defense get healthy. Let your defensive coordinators scheme up new defenses to stop these offenses. And until you do that, you're going to lose. You're going to be like the Bengals, right? Have the best passing game in the NFL and suck. Make that make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're the best passer. You got the number one quarterback, 5,000 yards, and you trash. You know? Because all you're doing is passing the ball. You put your defense in harmful ways. You know, even if you throw it down 2 seconds and your defense is back on the field again, you never, ever control the clock. You know, clock management is really big in the NFL. You get it down, man. But we almost got 2 hours, man. Hey, salute to you for coming out. Shout out to 50 Still Up in here, man. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. You know, all links are inside the description. Before we get out of here, I want to ask you, give me your 3 hot takes of this game. Play devil's advocate. If the Eagles win, it's going to be because why? And what does it take for the Cowboys to win? And then give me a score prediction.
If the Eagles win, it's going to be because they were disciplined, they were focused, and they were physical. I'm just keeping it all the way funky. That's you all's those 3 things together is you all's superpower. You have the focus, you're physical. You know, we've seen what y'all have done to teams in the playoff, just as far as the physicality. Y'all have a bravado, a swagger. Honestly, I'm envious of, because in a lot of instances, things in Dallas can be corporate. It can have heavy political influence, if you will, and in some instances, man, too, it just, you know, they promote where they put the dollar, you know. So I definitely respect my opponent. Former player of the game. That's how it was drilled into me by my coaches. That's how it was drilled into me by my favorite and ultimate coach, my father. But 3 crazy hot takes. And I done heard some of y'all's too, so I got some funky ones myself.
Yeah.
First one. Boys bash Barkley. Okay? That's the crazy one. We completely bottle him up under 100 yards. Second one. Cowboys shocked the world with a heavy dose of run game and put up over 150 yards on the ground as they go to victory against the Eagles. That's my second one. Now, the third one is honestly probably, if I had to choose, the most likely, but it's the boys burn the birds. That's right. Through the air, dynamic duo, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Dak Prescott. They make it happen. Realistically speaking, my Cowboys win. I don't think it'll be as high scoring as people may think in this week 1 matchup. I believe the second meeting will probably be a little bit higher scoring, but this one here, final score, Cowboys pull it out 24-17.
Woo! I heard 2 Cowboy wins so far. I don't know. We're maybe we'll pass that. Lord.
That's if. That's if.
I got you.
We have the commitment to the run game. We have balance. We don't lose sight of that. And if my defense can be
that everybody's sleeping on.
If we can be disciplined, because the way y'all offense operates, you make a mistake, that's your ass.
Yeah.
Okay. You get caught peeking in the backfield, that's your ass. Ball going over your head. You know what I'm saying? You playing off too much. Whoop, they're under you. You catch a block in the seam and the crease, is all to the races. So again, that I'm not saying it lightly, like we just gonna handle our business and just make mincemeat of the defending champions. I got to respectfully say that, as much as I hate to, but
don't worry, guys.
I don't think it's what most people think it is, as the Cowboys don't have a chance at hell. I believe we got more of a chance than most people think. But that's going to be dependent upon being disciplined, being physical, meeting force with force. And at the end of the day, for what we have invested in, it's got to be a win for us in the trench department, because as y'all know, everything else follows after that. I appreciate Birdgang for reaching out. I definitely have been I'm still new to the content world, only been in this for about a year. Now, I was doing watch parties with Boss Cowboy, for the last couple of years, just because I wanted to support the nation. And then I said, you know what? It got to a point to where content chose me. And I said, you know what? I'm in too nice of a man cave with the setup that I have to not be able to take advantage and push my channel, push my squad. And I'm going to leave it how I leave in every broadcast I do. Again, thank you again for the invitation. This is definitely not going to be the last time that we work together. But ladies and gentlemen, y'all know what it is. It is Mr. Always Making Plays. Good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good becomes your better and your better becomes your best. Until next time, y'all be blessed.
Hey, peace out, my guy. Oh, you got the smoke. You got the smoke.
I want it all.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, definitely got to get some work in. And like I said, I am looking to revamp up the network, my guy. We need some Cowboy creators. I got some Washington creators coming. If you ever looking for something to help me out, man. Boy for Life was one of my, Cowboys creators on the network, but he retired when he had a baby. So, I know how that be. I got 5 of them things out there, so I know exactly how that is. So
I got my kids' artwork behind me.
Right, exactly. So I'm gonna give you guys my hot takes. I'm gonna play devil's advocate first before I give my hot take. My devil's advocate is that I really think people are sleeping on the Cowboys' run game. Because I think the Cowboys kind of been suspect in it for the last couple of years, with all the draft capital and like the moves that they made at that position. It could possibly come back this year. You went out, you got a Javonte Williams, right, from Denver, who played some nice football. You know what I'm saying, over there in Denver, in my house city. But then you got like I said, Boobie Miles, and then you dropped the guy at Blue. I think this first game, I can't speak for the Cowboys go out the season. For this first game, I think people might be sleeping on it a little bit. They worried about CD, they're worried about Pickens. They think that's the only shot you guys have to win. And I feel like devil's advocate, if this is a close game or if you guys were to upset us, which I don't have an inkling thinking it's going to happen. But if it was, because like you said, the run game goes crazy, and I think Booby's that type of back. People. I made a video about this. I don't know if you guys see. I made a video about this Miles Sanders guy, like probably like 3 weeks ago. It was my whole like it had him half of it Dallas jersey, half Eagle jersey, and it was just that one thing. Like he's taking everything personally, and I don't know, being a running back myself, you know what I'm saying. If you trade, you don't pay me. You don't give me what I need.
Angry boy.
You let me go, my guy. I'm coming back for you. I might not play good the whole damn season, but against you, I'm about to show up and I'm about to show out. Coach, you might not want to start me, but guess what? By the second quarter, you're going to finish me off because I'll be running all up their ass. You know what I'm saying? I really feel like you got to watch out for that because I remember seeing a Deshaun Jackson come back to Philadelphia, light us up. You know what I'm saying? I remember seeing a Donovan McNabb light us up. I remember seeing players leave and come back and light us up. And I think that he could definitely be the next Deshaun Jackson in terms of like, he might not be the best running back throughout the year, but against Philadelphia is personal. And he can definitely light us up. So that's my devil's advocate for you guys. That's one to make you Cowboy fans feel good about it. Hey, you guys got a shot. If that happens, I don't think it's really going to happen. My 3 hot takes for this game, my guy, is Saquon Barkley is coming back, and he's going to get 2K again this year, and it's starting with the Cowboys. The first game of the season, he's going to have 2 touchdowns, 200 yards rushing. It's going to be one of them ball magic, game control games. You think we're going to go try to air it out to AJ, Smitty, and all that stuff. We're just going to chill out. We're going to come, and we're going to be possession after possession, just hand the ball to Saquon. Let him do his thing until you can't. Because I feel like this. Everybody keep questioning, can he do it again? I said, why can't he? Everybody last year tried to stop him. You act like we didn't play 20 games of football last year, or 20 different weeks you didn't have to try to figure out how to stop Saquon Barkley. Like every team didn't go to every game last year trying to stop Saquon Barkley. You know what I'm saying? Like that was their whole mission. And then everybody say, oh, well, the Chiefs did it in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs didn't in the Super Bowl. It's just that's when we flipped it on them. They're like, oh, you won't waste all your energy worried about Saquon because he just lit up the whole playoffs, 200 yards here, 100 there. Guess what? I already know what you're about to spend your nights staying up doing, and that's trying to stop the run. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to run the ball a couple times. We're just going to air it out the rest of the game. And Jalen Hurts can throw the ball, man. People are tripping off that. So I think Saquon has a monster game, a 200-yard game to start out the season against the Cowboys. He got 2,000 on you guys. He's going to start on his next 2,000 on you guys with 2 to 3 touchdowns. That's one hot take. I think our defense sacks Dak Prescott. How many rookies you guys got on that offensive line? 2?
Nope.
2 and then 1. With what, 2 second-year players on there?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I'm thinking this defensive line is going to get at least 6 sacks in the first game of the season.
Man, I got a button for that. Hold on. I got a button for that.
Hell no. Fuck no.
It's going to happen. 6. I got a button for that. Here we go. I'm telling you, Jalen Carter, Noah Smith, Jalen's son, and my boy, Jahad Campbell from Alabama finally gets to hit somebody besides his own team and give them concussions. He's going to be out there doing the damn thing.
If that happens, we got way bigger problems than we thought we did.
No, you don't, though. Like, I want the Cowboy Nation to understand one thing. When we lay it to snack it down on your candy ass this week, don't feel bad like it's the end of the season. You're playing the best team in the league, my guy. We're the number 1. We're top honcho. So, only thing you can do from there is go up because you already played the best. You know what the rest bring to you. Now you can take that game tape and worry about how you get better from there on out. You know what I'm saying? So, that's my second hot take. My third hot take is this game is over at halftime, like the Super Bowl. Like this shit is not gonna be close. It's not gonna be
It's gonna be over with at half.
Just like the Super Bowl, my guy. It's gonna be over at the halftime. You're gonna see Tanner McKee won't play, but you see a Sam Howell. You guys used to him. He played for the Commanders back in the day. You'll see Sam Howell in the game with some Shipley, some Corey. Yeah, not Corey Dillon, but AJ Dillon. You know, you're gonna see all these guys. You know, Cooper. Oh, we got Darius Cooper on our team who plays some good ball. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna see all these cats. They're gonna definitely begin to BT this game because this game's not gonna be close. You guys messed up when you traded, but y'all should have traded Mike like 2 weeks ago, and then I'll be a little bit more worried about it. Y'all traded wait till game week.
A couple months ago.
You wait the game week and then you trade them. That's where y'all really messed up. And like I said, I'm not speaking on the next game that we play, you guys. But I'm speaking on this one. This is about to be BTA, belt to ass. And we're about to go out there. We have to unreveal this championship trophy. You know what I'm saying? The banner's about to drop on your head, and we are on road to back-to-back championship season this year, my guys. So that's what I feel about the Eagles. Score is going to be 42-14, 17, whatever you want to do. I don't know. Dak is really good at garbage time, so maybe it's 42-21, so kind of like the Super Bowl or whatnot, you know. So it's going to be ugly, and then it's going to, you know, Dak's going to do his garbage time touchdowns and stuff like that. So he's going to get his yards and stats in, and, you know, he's going to get some touchdowns on the board there at the end of the game. So, hey, it is what it is. It's only week 1. Like I said, we can come back again in a couple of weeks. When we play each other the second time around? Is that not to like week 8 or something like that?
Actually, it's kind of early. Like I was like, God dang, by the middle of the season, we done. That date is Oh wow, my daughter's birthday, November 23rd.
So what we get that?
That's like week 13. No. Nah. It might be a little. I think that's like week 11, week 12.
11, yeah. All right, then, yeah. See, so by then that's be a whole nother story. We already know both of our teams right then, but right now the confidence is high, baby. We are Eagles Nation. We're gonna do what we do, and it's gonna be great. I love it, man. Hey, man, but salute to you, my guy. You know, thanks again. Like I said, the network's always open to you, my guy. If you ever want to collab one-on-one, let me know. I want to get I'm starting to see all these NFC East, roundtables going out, you know what I'm saying, every week. And I got some other guys that are giant and stuff. We need to get something going, my guy. Let's keep it going. I'm going to be working some content this year. Fans, I'm back. This is actually the first show I feel like it really told me I need to be back, you know what I'm saying? Because I love this truth. I love JC. He's my brother from another mother, but I need to come back with some more single content this year, and I'm definitely going to come hard this year that the season's going on, and we're going to do our damn thing, man. So, like I always say at the end of my videos, fly, Eagles, fly. And we out. I'm going to leave you on another Cowboys clip.
Ranked in third in the NFC.
Hurts. Everything else you can throw in the middle of the field or outside.
Able to shake off the pressure. Fires to the end zone, and it's caught by Dallas Goedert.